Let's face it, the Turing test has been passed. Ever since ChatGPT came out, you have no idea whether you're talking to AI or to a human. So now we need a new Turing test, which, as Mustafa Saliman has proposed, is to see whether AI can make $1 million. And although I do disagree with Mustafa on almost everything, especially on AI safety, I do think that the best indicator of intelligence in the age of knowledge work is the ability to create value within our economy. So in this video, I'm going to show you something that has never been done before, specifically how we developed the first fully autonomous business with AI. At the end, we'll even talk with the client himself so you can prepare for this new age AI economy and hopefully even attempt creating such a business yourself. Let's dive in. So I wanted to start this video by quickly highlighting one of the points Jensen Huang recently made in his keynote. He said that up until 2023, the tech industry mainly processed data for other industries, but it did not generate anything by itself. So for example, when you fly on a plane, there's a lot of tech involved in the background, like processing your ticket, storing your data, and so on, but the value itself is actually generated when you fly on a plane, not when your data is being processed. So although tech does significantly increase the efficiency and allows airports to increase the throughput by hundreds of times, it does not actually generate the value by itself, or it did not generate it before. Because now, with generative AI, for the first time in history, the tech industry can actually produce value by itself. So instead of primarily assisting other industries, we can now generate anything: natural language, actions, audio, video, 3D information, all of that simply in the form of AI tokens. However, what he didn't mention is that you can't simply create a factory, even a digital one, out of thin air. A factory needs to be built around the process. For example, a car factory has a conveyor line where raw materials go through a specific process until a finished car comes out. So, and the same should apply, of course, to a digital business, which means that our digital AI factories must also be built around a specific process. So this is what I'm going to show you in this video. This is basically what we do in our agency. We take a process from the client and then we convert it into a digital automated factory with AI. Right, so enough talking. Here's the process itself provided by the client. As you can see, it's quite large, and this is what we're essentially looking forward to when we are working with our clients. You know, if you have like some form of SOP documentation, if you've already built some form of a process and you send it to us, this is like gold, because we can automate essentially like almost anything. We can automate almost anything if you just provide us with like clear documentation. And if you don't have documentation, we also have like, SOP templates that you can fill out. So essentially what this whole process entails is online ebook generation and marketing. So here the process starts with the user who signs up and then requests like an ebook by providing like a dream customer, a problem, and so on. So then the first research assistant will perform all of the research. It will find the pain points, it will find additional information that should be included into this ebook, and then it proceeds with working with other agents in order to actually generate and sell this ebook. So there are like quite a few things involved here. It's not just the ebook generation. This system can also post Google and Facebook ads. It can generate landing pages for this ebook, and it can even trigger emails campaign. So after we've reviewed all the requirements, of course, the next step is to scope this project. It's quite important to scope the project, although we do try not to focus too much on project scoping. I'll explain why in a bit. But yeah, here's the client portal. So all of our clients, they get client portals like this and Notion, where they can track our progress and see all of the notes that we've made for them, so they can learn a bit more about the system, or for example, the client requests like documentation or something, we will add it into the client portal. So here is the content hosting, for example, piece that, shows how this system, specifically how the research agent and ebook creation agent are connected to databases, we're using Google Cloud for this. For landing pages, we're using Contentful, Google Ads, and for email provider, we're using MailChimp, and the hosting itself is on Vercel. So in the beginning of the project, we always try to determine details like this in advance, although I do always recommend to all my project managers to not focus too much on project scoping, because typically, the scope for those agentic projects, it tends to change a lot during the development process. So that's why we want to keep it as agile as possible. And here we have like the initial agency structure, for example, which looks something like this, where the request from the user comes in, then the ebook director directs this request to either like an ebook creation process or ebook marketing process. We have ebook generation agent, research agent here with conduct research tool and generate ebook tool. And in the marketing process of this ebook, we also have ebook marketing manager agent that talks to funnel copy agent, ad copy agent, and email agent. All of them have separate specialized tools. As I always say, you do have to focus on tools the most, because all of the heavy lifting must be performed by the tools, not by your agents. So here we'll also scope, the functionalities for each tool and an example flow before we actually start coding. Okay, so now let's go ahead and actually take a look at the code. So here's the code for this agency. As you can see, we're using 7 agents, and the agency structure looks something like this. This is how you essentially set up, those communication flows. So these basically match like the diagram that I showed you earlier, where ebook director can communicate with different agents for marketing and ebook generation processes. If you're new to this channel, all of our agents are developed using my own agentic framework called Agency Swarm on GitHub. If you want to learn it, make sure to check out my previous videos later. Okay, so let's take a look, for example, at the ebook generation manager. This is the agent that actually generates the ebook, and it has one tool, generate ebook tool. As you can see here, we're actually executing like ebook generation asynchronously, and then we're actually even like generating ebook image and then combining it all together and saving it to cloud storage on Google Cloud. So I believe the function that generates the ebook itself is right here. As you can see, we're using like quite a large prompt that essentially like splits the ebook into chapters and then generates each chapter separately in order to avoid the completion token limit. So this technique allows you to generate ebook first of all much faster, and secondly, it allows you to generate a lot longer content. So now let me actually show you a demo with one of my project managers, Ford.
Hey there, I'm Ford. I'm a technical project manager here at Vercel AI, and I want to take you guys through a quick demo of the ebook creation system, or Eladdin. So we're going to be interacting with the ebook director agent, and let's just send a message, say, create an ebook for entrepreneurs wanting to get into the AI industry in 2024. We'll click send on this, and then this sends the message to the ebook director agent, which will determine the process that it needs to go through to create the ebook, which in this case determines that it needs to send something to the ebook generation manager. The ebook generation manager will now go in there and determine, hey, I need to do some research to do this. So it sends that message to the research agent to conduct research based off of the target audience of entrepreneurs looking to enter the AI industry in 2024. This then is conducting research of this target audience and identifying them pain points. It returns this back to the ebook generation manager. And as you can see here, here are the 5 pain points that it has determined could be valuable. The ebook generation manager will now determine which of these pain points is most likely to really hit home with this target audience. And then it will go on to create an ebook for this. And then this step can take a little bit of time due to the nature of it. When you really get down to ebook creation time, like this is a pretty short timeline. So we'll take a second to wait for it here. Awesome. Now that the ebook has been successfully generated, ebook generation manager alerts the ebook director agent that the ebook has been created. And then here, now the ebook director determines, okay, now that the ebook is made, I need to create all the marketing material for the ebook. So this will consist of a landing page for purchase of the ebook, a email list to, as people purchase the ebook, to sign those users up for upselling them more ebooks and other things along the way, and ad copy and deploying those ads to various platforms such as Google Ads, Facebook Ads, Instagram, whatever you can think of, you can add in here. So here, the copy has been created, and now we are sending it to our headless CMS Contentful. As you can see, it's been deployed successfully, so we will go there in a second once everything else has been completed. So now Funnel Copy has alerted the ebook marketing manager that it is completed. And this is an important step to have the landing page created first, as when you create the email list and ads, it needs to be able to point the possible prospects to the place to purchase the book. So now we'll go in there and it's creating ads, generating them all, and then also creating emails. So this will create the email list and an email campaign and schedule those emails so that it can be sent out to people as they purchase the book. And now we can see that the ad copy agent has completed its steps and it is alerting the ebook marketing manager that, hey, everything is done. We can continue to the next step. Now that we have the ebook landing page created, we can now go to the website for this, which is currently hosted on my local computer. And there we go. We have Navigating the AI Industry, a comprehensive guide for entrepreneurs in 2024 is the name of the ebook. We have a very simple landing page we've built out here. And then here are the copy of the book, Unlock the Future of Entrepreneurship, your AI Industry Guide for 2024. Overcome and seize the opportunities in AI with expert insights and actionable strategies. Enter your email below to get your free ebook. The copy here is a little off. We're still working on this, but you can purchase it here. This then will go and create a Stripe payment link for this user to pay for this book. And then we will be redirected to the Stripe payment page really quick. Awesome. Here we are now. So this is a test mode Stripe. Nothing too crazy here. Now, as we click pay, this will process our payment through the Stripe test mode, and then we will receive an email to download the ebook and be rerouted to the thank you page on our website so that we can then ideally upsell a customer here with something new, or just say thank you and here's your ebook. So if I come into my email here, we can take a look, and here is my download for this ebook. Hello, your ebook is ready to download. I'll click the download ebook link. And now here we go. We have our 27-page ebook, title page, and quite a decent amount of content that we are able to then go through. And now in about 5 minutes, and with very little human effort, you have a full ebook ready to be created, sold, and marketed for you with very, very minimal effort. And while this is still just a proof of concept in the world of AI and in this project that this is not currently live, this really shows that people don't really need to be involved in some of these businesses that you can do in the internet world, such as ebook creation, or let your mind go to wherever field you're in, that you can generate an ebook and honestly generate revenue and money doing very little effort and having these AI agents run your entire business for you. It's really the beginning of something amazing here. And here at Versin AI, we really try to push the boundaries of what's possible. So this is a great proof of concept and one of our first projects showing that AI agents are here to stay and they are very, very powerful.
And now let's chat with the client himself. Okay, awesome. So thanks so much, William, for joining. As I said, I'm super excited about your project because most of the projects that we get in our agency are about automating existing businesses, whereas your project is rather about creating an entirely new business with AI. So that's what really got me excited here. And I just wanted to get your perspective on why did you decide to build this entire business using AI rather than going a traditional route and hiring people for it?
Well, it's interesting because I've always built businesses and try to automate them in the past. And usually what you have to do to automate is you get, you delegate it to some people, some contractors, or you get software to do it. But you still had to kind of connect the dots and put it all together. And so there was still work. So you almost semi-automated it. And then you have to kind of monitor it over time. And I was always wanting to fully automate a business for the longest time. And when AI came out, I was like, it's the perfect opportunity. And when I saw your program, the AI Agent Swarm, and how your agents can kind of be customized for different things, that's when I knew this was the time for us to try to actually try this. So
amazing. Yeah, I definitely agree. Right now we have extremely smart models. Those GPT models, they can perform most human tasks almost on the same level. But where they fall short at the moment is in actually making sure that they actually produce quality outputs at scale. Because, if you ask the GPT model right now to generate a website, it's not going to generate you an entire landing page. It's just going to generate one section and say there you go.
And that, I think that's why I really appreciated what you guys were doing, because your process was, it almost it helped the agents to think, right? And when you're a business owner, you're trying to create this business, you got to think through every step of what you're doing. And I think your agents working together in that capacity had the ability to make good choices. So when you put it together, it would kind of process was a very intelligent process to be able to build out all those things. And as you said, these models are being so increasing in their abilities, so that once you build it, as long as they keep increasing these abilities, then whatever you build start getting better and better. As they build it out, it gets better as well. So I really appreciate that about what you guys are doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's definitely one of the primary benefits of using Agent Source. That's what I always tell people, that you can scale your system very easily. So how did you determine like this initial process?
Well, it's interesting because I've been a business consultant for about 15 years. Like I had worked for business consulting. And one thing that is consistent amongst all businesses is that it's pretty much the same processes over and over and over again. Marketing, sales, operations, team, finance, the whole thing. And I was thinking, well, why don't we just take those processes and find a way of linking them all together? And so then I created that flow chart to say, okay, if we did link all these different processes together, what would it look like? When I go to a business and I try to help them evaluate where they can do better or be more efficient or more effective, I'll most likely start with a big flow of how their entire business flows anyway. And I was thinking, well, if we have that information already, why not just plug in the AI to be able to do the steps that you need to make it flow automatically instead of having a human being involved in it? So that's why I think the flow model was perfect, because businesses by far, 80-90% of them is all process. It really is. And so we decided to start with some easy businesses to kind of show that are pretty much almost 100% process, like information businesses, to just go ahead and show that this is possible. And that's why, it made it a lot easier just thinking in a process way to be able to build businesses step by step in that manner.
So what's your future vision for this project, and where do you see it go from here?
Well, I mean, and we're in the process right now just building a small model, like a prototype of it, to show that it can work from beginning to end. And we're using an information model for that. And we're building it in steps. So the first step is to show that it can be, done, right? And then once that's done, then we're going to expand the scale of it. So it's not only going to be able to build a business, it's going to be able to scale a business too. So like, let's say if I'm selling an information product and all of a sudden the AI has got it working and people are buying this information product, then that means that we can scale it up now and sell more of those information products by adding more elements to it, like whether marketing elements, sales funnels. So you can add more. So I envision a business that you can kind of validate in the beginning with AI. And then once it hits a certain validation level, then it'll automatically scale itself. And then if it hits another level, then it'll scale even bigger. And my hope is eventually it'll be able to kind of put itself up for sale. So if you want to even sell your businesses, you could do that too. So that's my first vision, just a business that can go from small to scale up all the way to sale, or, just to keep it as a passive, flow of income, because it's going to run itself. And my other vision is that's with information product. I want to see if we can do it with drop shipping. I want to see if we can do it with e-commerce. I want to see it then after that, manufacturing, right? Because like I said before, every one of these businesses works on processes. And like you said, if we can feed the right processes to the AI, it'll have all the information it needs in order to be able to do that. So my vision really is to create the world's first 100% automated business. And then these other businesses at least automate 90% of their workflow, so that it makes, oh my gosh, how much money you can save with that and how much money you can make with that. And then again, it'll just change the entire, the entire environment of business going forward.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. As an agency owner myself, the human element is typically the hardest one to scale in any business. So just one last question. What was your experience working with our development team?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I really did, when first meeting you, talking to you and understanding or getting to know how much the vast knowledge base you have in this area, that was really reassuring. And then working with a programmer, his name is Ford. He's great guy. It was great because we just kind of collaborated together to be able to identify areas that we can, that we want to put the agents in, and how to be able to move from one step to another. And it was a really great experience working together, collaborating on this task and this project. And I like it too, because I have areas where I'm not an expert in the programming side, and then Ford, he helped me a lot to be able to understand how these things work, so I can better make choices about how to be able to make this first prototype. So that was really helpful a lot. And then I think the other part too is he gave me also more ideas of things that we can do to make it better, like to make it even bigger, like that vision that I have. My thing is I had the vision, I just didn't know how to put the pieces together. And I think your company really helped me to do that.
Amazing. Thanks so much, William, for choosing us as your partner in the AI revolution.
Yeah, me too. Thank you again for all your help. It's really been a big support in me seeing this vision a reality. So thank you again.